Yo, sack that fool. Hit him, 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 hit him. Smash him up. Watch that move. Went too swift, can't catch these dudes. Hit him, 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 hit him. Listen, hit him, listen. This Eagles talk high. This talk Eagles. Philly bleed green. It's from your people. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's peep the squad. Big Pat Shell and Dante the Dark Child. Drop the stats on them. Drop the facts on them. Spur King, baby. Let's get it on.
Fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight, and welcome to another edition of Eagles Talk. Upon further review, where we go over the Eagles' previous game in which we dropped on Christmas Eve, 40-34. Philadelphia Eagles are coming off a loss, and somehow I don't feel as bad as I did on Sunday. I don't. I feel a little better. It was a tough loss. Didn't want to lose to the Cowboys, but when you saw how much trouble we gave them, like anybody looking at that game could tell that we still the better team. We're still the better team, even though they pulled out the victory. Now we know that doesn't make a hill of difference when you get to a playoff game. We be out, right? But knowing that wasn't the case, when we're at full strength, or not even full strength, just with our starting quarterback at in the game, that game is easily ours. I mean, they struggle. They struggle with our backup quarterback. They had to come back in the fourth quarter to win a game at their place, and we were playing without our starting quarterback. So I feel a little better. I feel a little better today. How you guys feel?
Fantastic. I'm exhausted actually, but fantastic.
What did you say? You can break it down, Pat. You can point out all the meat we left on. You can do all that today. You can do that. How do you feel? How do you feel? 5 days. Is it 5 days after we dropped a game to the Cowboys?
Well, first and foremost, had a great holiday weekend, even though our Birds lost and our Sixers. My brother was there,
Right.
mom was there.
Hey,
So I kind of blocked it out of my head into the last couple of days when I had to really listen,
Same.
go through, break down, and see the different things of this week. But you know what helped me get through it?
What's that?
Good old Jameson.
Oh God. Yeah, you don't have to worry about Pat ever forgetting this segment of the show where you are watching Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around, that's by us Eagles fans, for us Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. And we like to do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So we're going to take a shot on this, and then we're going to talk about what the heck went down. So Pat already announced that he's doing the Jameson Irish whiskey, and I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to sip on my water right now. Michelle is sipping on her wine, and that's cool. You guys let me know what you're doing out there, and we're going to salute our Philadelphia Eagles, even with the loss, knowing that we're still the superior team. All right, so here we go. Everybody, to our Philadelphia Eagles, down the hatch. 3, 2, 1. You are now listening to the fourth quarter. All right, so let me go to you guys, our fourth co-host, and that is you guys in the room. And the first person in the room tonight was David Bennett. He says, "Go Birds." What's up? I'm assuming that's supposed to be what's up, everyone. What's up? Jeremiah was second. He says, "Hey, Eagles fan." What's up, Jeremiah? JT, 3rd and 30. Oh, boy. Yeah, he had to come right out with that, right, JT? Okay. You're just going to jump right into it. All right, we're going to have to jump into it. Tony Burren, our resident from down under, is no longer down under. He is in the area. He's in the Philadelphia area. He says, "Yo, Bird fam, live and local." That's what's up. Tony, that is what's going on. We got to get together. I don't know if I can, but I'll explain later. Tanya Davis says, "Hey." Christopher Burton says, "Hey, fam, I want to stay, but I have to do an interview on my podcast. But as you know, it's always fly, Eagles fly." Well, thank you for checking in for a moment. We'll take that, Tone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Christopher, I'm sorry. I was at the game. It was a good game. Yeah, I did see that. I saw that. 3rd and infinity. That's what it was. It was 3rd and infinity, and we gave up a first down. Oh, my goodness. All right, so let's get into it, Pat. What did you see? What's your thoughts on the game on Saturday?
So afterwards, there was an interview with Darius Slay, and Darius Slay was talking about, people got to know their responsibilities, and you guys don't know football. He tweeted out later, which was deleted. Believe it or not, he is kind of right. It's a double-edged sword, though. Just like I said on Saturday, when you're playing this zone coverage and you go into a zone coverage, and I'm specifically talking about this 3rd down and 30 play, you do not let a defender, you do not let the receiver get on outside of you, and you lose the ability to track him. Right? You help your safety out as much as possible while make sure he's ranging towards or inwards towards the safety. Now, on that particular play, Josiah Scott, who's coming in to play for Avonte Maddox, had no reason to be looking inside. Had no reason whatsoever on a 3rd down and 30 to be looking for inside for a short crossing pass. So it is on those two, and it's on, a little bit of Josiah Scott. But I don't blame the players. You want to know why I don't blame players? In a 3rd down and 30, you don't play a freaking cover 2. You don't play a cover 2. What the hell is wrong with you? A 3rd down and 30 where the team is kind of desperate to get this, to keep their offense rolling. You don't play a cover 2 zone. What is wrong with you? Like, we talked about this all year, about this coordinator. Yes, we could go look at the stats and look at the numbers. We're 1 sack away from having 4 defenders with 10 sacks. We're 12 sacks away from having the NFL record in sacks, right? Without really blitzing, without being a blitz-happy team. We rely on our front 4. But at the same time, we've been coming back to this defensive coordinator week in and week out with the soft-ass zone. Our quarterback goes 24 for 24 in a zone coverage. You don't think you make any changes about that? The quarterback was 3 for 9 against man coverage with 3 sacks. Something is not right with our defensive coordinator. We have the talent. That's why we are putting up those stats. We have the talent. Last year we didn't necessarily have the talent. So okay, we give you a mulligan. This year you literally have the talent to match up with any team in the National Football League. And what do you play? You play a freshman cover 2 against a speedy receiver, against the number 2 receivers running deep crossers. This has to stop, because what's going to happen is when the playoffs comes around and they understand the middle of our defense in the zone is wide the hell open. It's wide open, especially when you play zone. Because what's happening? You are having one linebacker going over to the flats, because you only have 2 linebackers on the field. You got one linebacker either veering over to the hook to curl the flats, so the other linebacker is veering over to the curl. The middle of the field is always going to be wide open, and Jonathan Gannon's, yes, I said Jonathan Gannon's zone defense. And that's going to be Achilles heel if it doesn't get fixed moving forward.
Well, we talked in pre-show, and why doesn't he make those adjustments? I mean, I'm sure they get the stats at halftime. I'm sure he's walking in there armed with the fact that Dak is perfect against whatever zone he's run thus far, and not so perfect against man-to-man coverage, and make an adjustment at halftime. Why don't we see adjustments from this defensive coordinator? That's the problem. Like, okay, all right, if you came out with a scheme, it didn't work. What's the adjustment? You don't go on and play more of it, right? You try to get better, and that's the time that's the short period of time you have to look at things and say, all right, we can change it up. Halftime, right? That's what halftime.
I think it's
right?
a little bit of arrogance, though. He didn't take accountability for it. in the pressers at all. He never acknowledges it. And we've been having issues with Gannon since last season. He's not, he's not going to change his stripes. And I don't think the head coaching talk helped any, because I don't think he thinks he's flawed. He doesn't think he has any flaws, and that's the problem with Gannon. He doesn't make adjustments. He's not the caliber DC we need if we really want to be the next dynasty for the next 3-4 years, because it seems like his priorities are not to put out the best defense he could possibly. It's just serviceable at this point. The talent is the reason why we have so many pro bowlers. The talent is the reason why we play as good as we do on defense. Imagine if we had the coaching. Imagine if we had the coaching, and the coaching has always been that gap. Yes, sometimes our players can miss assignments. Sometimes they don't. But the whole thing starts and ends with the DC at this point. How do you have pretty much the best talented defense in terms of personnel in the league all around from the rooter to the tutor, but you can't scheme them? So that defense should never give up a 3rd and 30 ever in life. With all of those dudes on there now, not even one time should that have ever happened. I'm still salty about that. But I think it's a little bit of arrogance, because Jonathan Gannon still has not taken any
Any
for the
accountability.
lackluster defensive play calling.
Yeah, and you know, the sad thing about
Just
that.
saying.
Go ahead, Doctor. I'm sorry.
All right, so follower on YouTube, On Point Pat, he said there's zone, but not every play. Slay should have been manned up on Lamb. I know. I mean, like,
You make Lamb look like
Right?
the
he
second
said, "F
coming
that,
of
I'm
Jerry
gonna
Rice.
run this zone until it works."
Right? He don't give
It's
a,
like,
he don't give a.
that seemed like it was, man, because he was not giving up on that zone. But to your
I
point,
know Seth
Michelle,
wants to kill him too.
we have the talent where that should never happen, and it's in spite of his bad coaching decisions that this defense is doing as well. I mean, we just have talent, and what's a big shame is that I don't know if this group is going to be as talented next year. I don't know how many of the defensive free agents we're going to be able to bring back, and this is a defense. I mean, with the talent that we have now, you would love to see in another defensive coordinator. You talk about this could be an historic defense in someone else's hands, right? With the stats we put up thus far, with his passive aggressive style of calling plays, imagine we had a more aggressive defensive play caller out there with the talent that we have. Because
more seasoned. Let's be clear. More seasoned. I would love to make Ryan's here.
Just
Oh
look
my
at San
God.
Fran's
Would you-
Listen.
San Fran does not have the talent we have, but they have the defensive coach who is a defensive-minded guy who
Could you
comes in
imagine?
and games plans, not necessarily just for the team, but per quarter. He changes his game plan mid-game depending on what's going on the game. That's what you're supposed to do. I understand this JG, what I called his nickname, sorry, Jonathan Gannon, right? I understand this is a new football age, and therefore you have to zone here, you have to zone that. You can't blitz like we used to do yesteryear, because it's no more fullback, so therefore if you blitz, it's always going to be somebody open. I get it. All right, I get it. But if you play zone against your Patrick Mahomes, he's throwing for 500 yards like Tom Brady did against Jim Schwartz in the Super Bowl. All right? Each week he's doing that. You cannot be this complacent. You cannot be this big kid. You cannot be this stubborn. You cannot be this, whatever you want to call it, to not see that, it's a flaw in my zones that I'm calling. You're not even dropping a linebacker in the middle of the field when you play Tampa 2.
No. We're gonna finish this conversation in the second quarter. So that's the end of the first quarter. You are watching.
That's the end of the quarter.
All right, you are watching Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around, that's by Eagles fans, for Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our 13-2 Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know why I said it like that.
We are 13 and 2,
2.
though.
It is crazy. And we like to do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So I am chilling because I'm a little under the weather. That's the we've been hit again for the 3rd annual time with COVID in the house around this time. 3rd year in a row.
To hear that.
Oh my goodness. We expect it like we expect to put up our Christmas tree now. I'm only kidding. No, but it has hit the household again. So Tony, as much as I want to come up, I cannot. I cannot
You all the best,
and
man.
subject you to that.
I might be able to come hang out with y'all, Tony.
Yeah, dude. Somebody hook up with Tony and get some pictures.
Yes.
And let him know
at a
all the way
local
from up
park.
here.
Like, yo, let's do a show at a local park, but you can't come out.
Yeah, no, I can't come out.
I meant to hang, not to do the show.
Yeah, just to hang.
All right, I'm going to go hang.
So here we go. Pat is doing the Jameson Irish whiskey. Nichelle is sipping
Chateau Saint Michelle Riesling.
and I am just drinking some water, just trying to stay hydrated. All right, so here we go to our Philadelphia Eagles, 13 and 2, and still the best team in the NFL. Down the hatch,
We
3,
are.
2, 1. You're now listening to the second quarter.
So is our Christmas wish that Gannon gets a head coaching job?
Oh, definitely, man. I like Sean's here. Sean's comment. This is who I want. I wouldn't mind him either. He's already in the building, right? He's already on. We already have a line to him, right? He's an advisor or something, right? So if Gannon got to go, man, bring him in immediately.
But you know what, Dark Knight in the show, I honestly, as much as I dislike the philosophy that our defensive coordinator has been running, I don't think that's the reason we really lost that game. 4 turnovers.
Turnovers.
Oh, 50-50. I think it's 50-50.
We gave them 20 points. We gave them 20 points. All these media talk shows about we put a 40 burger on you. No, we gave you 20 points.
We gave you 20
we
points.
Totally gave them 20.
If you take away that 20 points, what's the final score? 34.
No, you take away those 20 points and give them to us. Because we may, we don't turn the ball over 4 times. We may score those 20 points. Jalen, you know what I mean?
Jalen would never.
Hard.
That's all I got to say.
It wasn't
Jalen would
hard
never.
for Minshew to drive the team down and put up 34 points. It wasn't hard. I mean, I'll take the 7 away. All right, so 27. It wasn't hard for him to lead the offense to 27 points.
Mm-hmm.
What would Jalen have done without turning the ball over? He would have got those 20 points we gave away could possibly be 20 points for us. So you add now it would not.
Could you imagine if Jalen was healthy and playing in that game?
Oh my goodness!
It would not have been.
Did y'all see the breakdown I sent to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
So the breakdown was so crucial about how important Devontae Smith and how good as a receiver he literally is.
He is awesome.
He literally helped make Minshew have a decent numbers game, right? Even though Minshew threw 3 interceptions, two interceptions, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
He could have had 4 picks. He could do 4 picks.
He could have 4 picks.
He got lucky like 3 times.
Yeah.
He could have had more than 4 picks.
And I'm not trying to disrespect or come at Gardner Minshew because he's put into a situation where
that's why he's the backup.
He is the backup.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You have to set your feet. You have to, in those different situations, that first drive, that play when it was down there on like the 7-yard line, 6-yard line was a touchdown play.
Can we talk about homies mechanics to much as all these people?
Oh, we have another one from down under.
Where Minshew is better than Jalen, or Minshew can fit into this just as good as Jalen. My boy still throwing off his back foot. Like you said, Pat, he's not getting set. His mechanics ain't even starter level at this point. Sometimes he gets a nice ball, but let's be clear, he'll never have Jalen's deep ball. Real talk.
I mean, listen,
talk.
He is the prototypical backup quarterback in this league who could be serviceable in that role. And this offense is definitely catered just for Jalen Hurts.
Well, I mean, somebody like Minshew, he doesn't have the all around QB talent level that Jalen does. So he's, it's going to be hard for him to secure a starting
Mhm.
position and
That's great.
sustain it. You see what happens, look at old Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Back and
Yeah.
forth, back and
Before we go
forth.
to this, before we go to this comment, before we go to this comment, a lot of people forget that yes, Jalen Hurts is in the running for MVP this year, but you fail to forget that his last year of college, he was in the running to win the Heisman. Only
Hello.
elite players
Mhm.
are like that. Only elite players could be put in these atmospheres and say, you know what, they're in a running for this trophy because they're of their individual play that uplift the team. Peyton Manning never won a Heisman, but he was second up to who? Charles Woodson.
Exactly.
you
But
know,
listen, you talk about the Heisman, the disrespect that Jalen got coming into this season until he had this breakout season, a Heisman candidate, and
he's still
people
getting
was
disrespected.
he's still being disrespected.
That
Like he
that
could
was
play at
yeah.
the highest level, it's still not good enough for some of these media pundits, some of these folks that won't let go
Mhm.
of the 1990s QB. That's not what we have
Ooh, Nick
anymore.
Wright. Y'all talk.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Nick Wright in the
Yeah.
third quarter, but that comment you had
All
up
right.
there by Aeneas Bird was
Yeah.
yeah.
Ananias
Okay,
says, great point.
nice.
Minshew actually missed Smith on the last play. Minshew panicked and just threw it up, but had
Terrible
Smith coming
decision
across for
making.
the
He ain't
first
about
down
that life.
and out of bounds catch. Yes, it showed because he's a backup. He doesn't get the reps that Jalen Hurts gets. So his decision making wasn't as sharp because he's not in those game time situations.
No.
And one of them was what Tony says. Well, hold up. Oh, let me give Romaine says y'all show is starting to be one of my favorite show. I'll be looking forward to watching
Oh,
this show every
thank
time y'all on.
you.
Appreciate you.
Like,
That's what's up.
subscribe, and
Thank you.
share.
Yes. But and this is this comment right here speaks to what I'm talking about with Minshew. Not the sharpest knife in the book. Just because he's not in those
Oh,
situations, because he kept
Quiz.
deciding to throw the ball to Watkins in key situations. And that's something Jalen doesn't even do. Jalen
Quez
knows that
broke my
much
heart the
that
way he
that's not
played.
where he's good at. You know what I'm saying? Like a good point guard on the team knows, all right, this is not where to give Dante the shot. He's give it to him on the wing and let him create, right?
Yeah.
He comes in and he didn't know that, Watkins is not the go-to on those type of plays. You
Yeah.
get that, if anything, you got to be looking for Goddard or something. Or I mean, like
That part.
he didn't know that. He didn't know that.
He
That's
got
because
punked a
he's a
few
back.
He
times, and
did.
I was really upset with him. Like he is not
He got
he is
nervous.
not Brown. He's not even Devontae Smith. He doesn't snatch his balls and take
Pause.
authority when he when he's going up there. I'm just saying. It's your ball, snatch it.
So
And he doesn't.
true,
He lets it go.
but
You can't give your balls away.
no, you can't. You definitely can't.
No,
But
you
you
can't.
know the thing about it is, and I
He
go
wasn't
back to this.
hungry. He wasn't
He
hungry.
was
I go back to this
He
not.
was
breakdown,
not
and what
hungry.
I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this breakdown on our page. Go to Eagles Talk on Facebook, and you will see the breakdown that was put up there.
But it wasn't not only him not being hungry because there was
But the
who
play
was
when he
talking about
threw,
we had 4 opportunities 50-50 balls and we lost all 4 of them. So there
yeah.
was something missing on the hunger
AJ
part in
seems a little
everybody.
gimpy right now too. I think
Well,
he's
Like the
covering up.
fumbles, like
I
you
just
got to
think
be
he's
hungry.
covering up something because he doesn't have the wheels he did before. If you
Well, I think
notice,
it's
he's
more or
been
less
slow.
it's that turf field. When he made that cut after that big catch, the first
Mhm.
catch, when he made the
Mhm.
cut, he twisted his ankle a little bit. And I
Mhm.
said it in our comment. I said, you know what? Turf is what's destroying some of these players' careers. Lane Johnson said it a few weeks ago when the guy went low for his knee. He said if he was on turf, he'll be gone for the whole season at that particular point. But see, being as though he was on grass, his leg was able to give a release from the grass. On
All
a
right.
turf situation, especially this is what happened to Avonte Maddox. If you go back
Mhm.
and look at it, his toe when he made that play when he made that play on Dak, his toe stayed in the ground. The turf didn't release his foot, so therefore, his foot was dug into the ground. And this is the thing that a lot of these players are talking about. This turf is fast, right? It helps you as a player becomes fast. It's bouncy. It's this, but it's unforgiving. It's
See,
unforgiving.
told you.
All right, Ananias says, according to reports, AJ does have a bruised knee he is battling.
I'm
So that
telling
makes
you,
him
he's
play
been
for, and
acting
they still
gimpy
got
for
off
2
though.
weeks.
They still got off.
No, he
Even
still gets off, but
yeah,
you ever notice after his catch, his
he's
get
been
up
getting
and
up
go.
small. Yeah,
His
he's
get up
been
and
getting
go
up
isn't
slower.
there. His out the blocks is not there right
Oh
now.
yeah, I want to talk about one of the last plays of the game where he Minshew threw it up
Nice, Mario.
to Smitty, right? If he panicked in that situation, he had a wide open Dallas Goddard coming wide open in the end zone on the letter L, the second L.
Yeah, because
He's
he's
not
not
about
sharp.
that
He's a
life.
backup. He's a
He's
backup
not
for a
about that
reason.
life.
But you know
Yeah,
what, Dark
thank
Knight?
you. Can we stop saying that
Michelle,
Minshew can be a starter? Not on this
even with
team.
that, even with
Not
that,
on this
even though
team,
with all
but he
those
could be a starter
mistakes,
though, because there's some brutal quarterbacks out
there
there.
are
Listen,
some.
listen,
There are
but
some.
not
It's,
on
I
this
mean,
team. You can go
not
to
on
one of
our
those
team.
busted
No,
teams,
yeah, like
but you
shoot,
can't come to this
if
team
he
and be
ain't
a
better than
starter.
the young boy from the Jets, oh,
Zach
that'd
Welcome,
be
Wilson,
Bronson.
brutal.
We got some new folks today. Tell us where you from. Tell us what
Yeah, tell
city
us
and
where you
state you
from.
from.
But he can't be any brutal than that young guy from the Jets or Tannehill.
Zach Wilson.
Tannehill's not that great. Yeah, Zach Wilson. Yeah, he was horrible.
Tannehill was
And
good
I know
enough at
he's
least to
still
get
young.
a second and
He
third
might pull out of it. I
contract.
don't know.
Tannehill
Who?
was at least good enough to get a second, third contract. Zach Wilson, he may be one and done.
Yeah, he is.
Like I said it, I said,
brutal.
why in the heck were you looking at a BYU quarterback who
He
only
looking
looked good his senior year? Who
he
only looked
looking
good his
Ryan
senior year?
Leafish. He looking Ryan Leafish right now.
He was like,
Wow.
I got this money right now. I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm a milf hunter.
I'm talking about that. That boy looks horrible. All right, so all right, that's the end of the second quarter.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, you are watching Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around. That's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. Yeah,
Enjoy
that's why we include
responsibly.
you guys in the conversation. We don't talk at you, we talk with you. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. Yes, especially after this loss. We needed a couple of shots to soothe our nerves, so to speak. But again, I said I don't feel that bad. But let's do that as I raise my glass of water. And Pat is doing the Jameson Irish whiskey, and Michelle is sipping on some white wine. All right, let me know what you're doing out there, but whatever you do, please do it responsibly. To our Philadelphia Eagles, 13-2, down the hatch, 3, 2, 1. You're now listening to the third quarter. All right, so I don't feel that bad. I think that we are still the best team in the league, and
We are. You don't
reported
have to
today.
think. We are the best team in the league. We are
Yes.
13-2.
Yes, and reported today, Jalen Hurts returned to practice. He returned to practice. We could possibly see him
My quarterback.
on Sunday.
That's
and
my
he'll,
quarterback.
no doubt that we will solidify this first seed. And if he's good to go, he goes.
He's
That's where I'm
going.
at.
Stop playing.
Yes.
Why are we even playing? He
Yes.
didn't practice for nothing. He was mad he had to sit out the Dallas game. The only
real.
reason he didn't play were the coaches. Because Jalen would have played, Gimpy or not, and we still probably would have won the game.
Yep, I agree
Just
with
saying.
that. But yeah, if he's healthy, and I trust that the coaching staff is going to make the decision on that. But you let him play. Like
That's
I said
right.
in the post game, I don't think it would be a good idea for him not to play anymore until the playoffs. That's too long of a time for your starting quarterback not to take live game snaps and then have to come out in his second ever playoff game and show the same sharpness. Now, I think that's a big gamble to do that. Now, don't get me wrong. If he was hurt and he had to do that, that's something else. But if he is able to play, I think that he has to get these snaps, and we're still playing for something. It's not like we don't have anything on the line. Right?
Hello.
We're still playing for something. We do want that. That's that number one seed. That's big.
I want
2
the
games
number
at
one
home.
in the NFC East, so the Cowboys and everybody else can just shut up. That's it.
Yes.
Period.
Get that
We
out
win.
the way.
We can lock both of those things down, and rest
Let
up
Gardner
and get
Minshew
ready
get
for the
the garbage time. Let him. That's when we
right.
want to see him play. Let him. He'll be
Yeah.
playing by the third quarter if Jalen plays and take care of business. But I hear that the New Orleans Saints, although their offense is putrid, they have a pretty okay defense out there.
Yeah, they have a good passing defense, but not rushing defense.
Listen.
All right, they're not
Hmm.
the Saints from last year. Last year, that when we played them, they were number one ranked defense.
Hmm.
So they are missing some key players, but they still have a good passing defense. So what do you do when a team has a good passing defense? You run the ball down their freaking throats like we did the freaking Green Bay Packers for the tune of 363 rushing yards. So we need to do the same thing this week. We need to take advantage of what we can take advantage of, even though Hurts may not be 100%. A 80% Jalen Hurts is better than 100% Gardner Minshew. I hate to say it. Don't get mad at
Yeah.
me. I love Gardner as a backup. He's great for us, right? As a backup. But
As a backup.
80% Jalen Hurts is better than 100%
100 times better
Gardner
than
Minshew.
100%
All right?
Garner Minshew. Let's be clear. Let's be very clear about why he's QB1 and why Gardner Minshew is the backup.
And Tony Barron says, I want Hurts to play, but if he isn't 100%, he'll need some protection.
will.
And Lane Johnson is out is a worry there. Yeah, that's a good point that you bring up there. Lane Johnson won't be playing, probably not until the playoffs. He's put off
Shout out to
having
Lane Johnson,
surgery
too.
for his
I
abdominal
know.
strain.
Mhm.
And he's putting the team first. He's going to wait until after the season. He's going to play through the abdominal strain. And we need him. I mean, if we're going to make any type of run in the playoffs, we definitely need Lane. So that would be a concern this week. But like Pat said, we should be running the ball a lot this week. Hurts shouldn't be in harm's way too much. He shouldn't be, if we use the same formula, like you said, that we used against Green Bay, take advantage of what their weakness is, we should be running the ball heavily. And that way, Jalen could avoid some damage there, any type of contact.
Yeah, I agree. Anthony Aids, Driscoll is going to struggle. He's going to need some help.
Yeah, you know what?
Well, why don't they flip him? Why don't they put
He gonna need some help.
Mailata on the right side
No,
and bring in
How you really feel, Pat?
No, and bring
All right.
in
Dante,
Dylan.
you're right-handed, right?
Dylan is a safer bet on the left side.
No,
and
he's not.
Mailata is
right-handed
better than
quarterback.
Driscoll on the right side. Huh?
All right, let's do this, Dante. You shoot right-handed or left-handed?
I shoot right-handed.
So if you had to shoot 4 threes and make at least 2 of them with your left hand, could you do it?
Yeah, I train with my
from
left
half court.
No, not half court. No.
All right then. It's the same God sharp thing, right? All right. So for the whole season, 3,000 snaps, this guy has been playing on the left side.
But he has experience playing.
Wait a minute.
Before he solidified.
Tuned into that position is 2 different things. Because remember, Lane Johnson was supposed to be our left tackle of the future, right? He's supposed to be our left tackle of the future. When Jason Peters went down, he put Lane Johnson left tackle, and he got embarrassed. All right. So they said, you know what? You stay behind over the right tackle. We'll put somebody over there. Jack Driscoll is a professional. All right. You're a professional option at the offensive line position. You're just like Big V right now, right? You're just like Big V. We'll give you a little help. We put a tight end on that side, but you gotta hold your own. You gotta hold, like Nichelle said a little bit earlier. You gotta hold your nuts. Don't let them take your nuts, right?
All
you
right,
gotta
let them take your balls.
I'm not in practice. If they decide to do that, I would be okay with it because I know that Stoutland University is a legitimate school. And so if he decides that he wants to move Mailata over there, or if he decides that he wants to put Driscoll on the right side, then I'm just going to have to trust him. But Driscoll looks brutal. I'm sorry. Maybe with an entire week of practice under his belt, maybe that'll help him out because we just talked about Minshew coming off.
He was okay.
He was serviceable.
You gotta realize
he went against DeMarcus Lawrence and held his own. that last play of the game, we saw, like, if you saw the what I sent to you, literally he walked into that. We always talk about Jalen Hurts walking into sacks, right? Minshew he panicked and walked into not being able to see that Dallas Goedert was coming right across, or Smitty was coming across the middle for a first down and a potential game winner. Like, that's going to happen in those situations where you throw people into the game. All right, Dante, you play basketball. All right, you're a basketball player. Right? Have you ever played baseball?
Yeah, a little bit.
If I said, Dante, right now, this is a bottom of the ninth. There are 2 outs. I need you it's 1 out. I need you just to do a bunt to move my man over from second to third. Right? But you
it
cannot
wouldn't have worked. I was scared of the ball. That's why I didn't last in baseball. Nope, wouldn't have worked. You would have asked me to jump in front of a speeding baseball and put my body and hope that I could get a bat on it?
I didn't even finish it because I was going to say Randy Johnson was the pitcher. I'm just telling you,
that wasn't my sport for that reason. I couldn't stay in there. That ball was coming. That ball was coming. And we had one of the best curveball pitchers on our team. So every day you had to practice against the ball coming right at you and at the last second breaking over the plate. Boom. It was scary.
You got to stay on the curveball pitchers. You got to stay there because once you see the rotation, when it rotates and come there, it meets the head of the bat and is ready to go out the park.
All right. Well, that's what pushed me to basketball. All right. So anyway, all right. Let's go to some comments here. They are good to go. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Left Eye says, I think Driscoll will be fine. The Cowgirls didn't get 1 sack when Lane went out.
It's cow turds. Girls are a lot stronger.
Actually, they didn't get a sack.
I hope understand during practice this week they work on deep balls, especially on Darius Burns' slay side. Yeah, Darius did get burned. Now, come on now.
He listened. He did. He was really salty too about it. So
other tackles, yeah, because he knows it was a zone. If it was man to man, he would have never let that guy get the position
and I think that's half of his frustration right now is the scheme
the call
he's playing it.
Like literally, that call should have been. I'm gonna be honest with you, as watching the play over and over again. After the 4th time I watched it, I said I'm not watching it longer because you don't play a cover 2 in that situation. You either play a cover 4. I'm making it very simple for everybody out there. Play a cover 4, or you play a cover 3. Right? That's what you do in those situations. You literally play the fence's defense, one that we always hated. You make them catch the ball in front of you.
Shout out, Marcus. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you'll be notified every time we go live. Marcus is giving out love, and we're giving it right back. Real Will is out there. He says he's blaming it on Josiah.
Yes.
Josiah did make I don't know what the hell he was doing. Josiah says no matter what, and then afterwards doesn't take responsibility for his action. All right, that's the end of the 3rd quarter. So that's
the end of the quarter.
You got burned.
Tuned in to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around us by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. And here we like to talk about our favorite team, the Eagles, 13-2. Get this win Sunday. We wrap up the number 1 seed, Philadelphia Eagles, and we do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So Nichelle's sipping on her white wine,
or
Pat is doing the Jameson,
or wine,
and I'm just drinking
or
my
water.
All right, so you guys let me know what you're doing, and make sure you do it responsibly. But to our Philadelphia Eagles, down the hatch, 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the 4th quarter.
All right, so getting back to Jalen practicing this today. There's a big possibility that he'll be playing Sunday. I so want to see it. Get it out the way. Get him some more work, and then once we secure this next week, you can give him a half, a quarter, or something like that. And then that's all he needs. I mean, he's going to get a full week after the game against the Giants, and he doesn't need to be sitting that long. So, yeah, I say play him this weekend. Get this thing sewn up, the number 1 seed in the NFC, and maybe a little work in the Giants game, and then he can rest. He can rest for 2 weeks, and then we come back.
That's it.
And go on this run here. two home games. If everything goes right, I mean, this is the best path, right? 2 games at home to get to the big day, to get to the big game, right? That's
That's the easiest
ideal.
path. That's the easiest path in the world.
Yes.
When you only have 2 games in front of your rowdy, crazy fans, night games at that. Let's make it night
Yes.
games because it's going to be night games in Philly. All right. This game against the Saints is not going to be a pushover game because they're fighting for their playoff life. If they lose this game, their playoff hopes and dreams are out the window. And our draft pick goes a little bit lower. It goes in the top 12. So we are fighting for 2 things: the number 1 overall playoff seed and a top 12 draft pick.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Absolutely right. And we need that. We need both of that. We need all that.
Mm-hmm.
I need all that. All right, let me go to some comments out here. Jeremiah says, LeBlanc, I think, is better than Scott. What's y'all thoughts?
Trayvon LeBlanc. He hasn't played in about 2 years. Hasn't been on the team in 2 years or a year, I think it is. Yes, shout out to the Stellas. That's what I'm drinking right now.
Fellas and lady, come on, Jackie. I'm not a fella. Do I look like a fella?
Definitely. So I would love to get Trayvon, but again, he hasn't played in over a year, and just coming off the street to get on the field in these high pressure situations. I know he has a little bit of skill, but we was very critical of him, even when he's with us. We was very critical of him about him playing man to man and stuff like that. So is he better than Josiah Scott? Probably. So. I'm probably better than Josiah. No, I'm not. I ain't
You being real extra.
Listen, when I played, I could say.
Listen, you better than Gannon.
Yeah, you definitely that.
Seth, listen, I got a long list of DCs.
Seth has
right
a better
now.
chance than me, right? if we ever get Seth on the show,
if Seth
tell
had
Seth
hair,
I will be his grad assistant, whatever he wants.
Waiting for that call.
So,
if Seth had hair, he probably pulled it all out.
Look, we face these Saints. We can sew it all up, and 12 more sacks. I don't know how doable that is, but 12 more sacks, and we could set the all-time sack record. That's incredible that we can even utter that statement, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we are still achieving again because our talent, this roster is insane. But
yes.
we would be breaking every record every week with a more aggressive DC, a more seasoned DC. Because let's be clear, he's a Similac child when it comes to being DC a little bit. Just saying.
3rd and 30. We'll never forget that.
Never.
Ever.
Be on the opposite end after the whole what was it called with Fred X?
4th and 26.
26.
Yes.
You never got it right. the ball literally never crossed the line, but back then it is all good.
It's Fred X, Sean. Fred X. Freddie Mitchell.
Fred X. Yes.
Fred X.
But you know what? This I really hope, and I don't take this loss. This loss doesn't even feel like a loss because we literally played without our MVP quarterback. We Lane Johnson finds a way somehow, some way to get always injured against the Cowgirls, right? Micah Parsons, their MVP, got one pressure. One pressure.
What's all this Micah Parsons hype? Because he doesn't show up to play for us. I know that's your Penn State homie, but he's a little suspect.
We have the guys to contain him. All right, we have the guys. Like literally, Lane Johnson has went against some of the best pass rushers in history. Khalil Mack, Vaughn Miller. What's the other guy? DeMarcus Weir. He made these guys look embarrassed. These guys. It's respect around the league for Lane Johnson.
And Mike is a young buck, so he better get his weight up.
The same respect is starting to come to Mulata because they realize that Mulata, even though he's a big guy and still learning the game, that he can play with these defensive ends, outside rush linebackers, and this Philadelphia Eagles offensive line, who is the Scotland University offensive line, they are legit.
All right. Well, it's going to be
Too legit
Driscoll.
to quit.
Just on the news, Driscoll's going to start for Lane
We
Johnson.
know. We know.
Yeah.
We
So
know. We need
hopefully
Lane
it's a
for the
different.
playoffs. Real
Yeah,
talk.
he's
Yeah, we
definitely gonna play
do.
in the playoffs.
Hopefully it's a different outcome. He has a full week of practice. Um, we talked about it with Minshew. Your backup, you don't get all the reps, not the first team reps, and you don't see a lot of live action. Practice can do only but so much for you. So now that he has a full week of running with the ones, hopefully he'll give us a better showing than some of the past when he's had to step in there for even a short amount of time.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's going to be more the serviceable this year. And this week, he's going against Cam Jordan, who is not he's one of the premier pass rushers in this league. But I think we're going to, chip him all game. And I really think we're not going to be a pass heavy game this week. I think this week's going to be more or less relying on the run. It's going to be a Miles Sanders get back game, like this week should have been. This week
Yeah.
we should not rely on Gardner Minshew to throw for 300 yards at all, because our offensive line was definitely controlling that defensive line.
We get
But
too cute sometimes. We get
we
too
do.
cute sometimes.
We get too cute for our own health,
It's It's
and it
like
costs
driving
us.
a sports car, man. It's just the temptation to do stupid things. You know what I'm saying? Because you have such power. I think our offensive brain trust comes to that conclusion sometimes. They have a sports car they working with, like, yo, no, I don't want to run the ball. I want to open it up. Let's open it up. So I think they go through that decision process themselves, and they get too cute sometimes. We should have been running the ball and taking them out like that, but
Tecmo Bowl.
and
What
plays the playbook for techno. Yeah, that's how basic they look sometimes. I mean, I hope and pray, right? Here's my prayer. I hope and pray that when we get to the playoffs, that he had some things that he didn't want to show. That's my hope. Like Gannon. I'm hoping Gannon, when we get to the playoffs, that
throw a flag. Throw a flag, Pat.
I gotta do this.
Throw a flag.
Look,
Come
I'm
on.
saying.
Come on. What you mean he don't have anything to show, first of all.
He might be saving. He don't want to expose, put everything on film.
This isn't offense, yo. Real talk. Come on. That's not, you show everything on defense every week and you show something more each week. Tony, Amazon Prime. I don't know if you have it where you're at, but Thursday night games are only on Amazon Prime.
Oh, did I set my lineup for playoffs?
Sean said
that's what I'm doing.
Talking crazy and drinking water.
And shout out to the people in our fantasy, the Super Bowl. What's it, Daniel and Judy are in the fantasy Super Bowl. I'm in the fourth place game.
Okay. Oh, you made the playoffs too?
I'm in the consolation round.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm in a seventh place game. I don't know how that is. I got a better record
and Tony go up against each other for the seventh place.
I got a better record than you.
Did somebody just ask if Minshew or Hurts who's a better QB? You must not watch this show, Cade.
Hold up, Cade is he's old.
Y'all tell Cade who's the better QB.
Passing quarterback. I say
it's Hurts. Hurts
Yeah,
been the
it's
better
Hurts.
passing quarterback from day one. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay, that's not.
He doesn't even have
question.
fundamental. You must have come in late because you missed the whole talk about Minshew does not have his fundamentals down. He's throwing off his back foot. He's not getting set. He doesn't make good decisions. That's why he's a backup. So there is no who's better. Hurts is better at every part of the game than Minshew, period. That's not even a debate anymore. We don't debate that here. You can go debate that with the national pundits. That's crazy. Give the boy his respect at this point. Heisman Trophy winner versus, I don't even know what school Minshew came from. What school did he come from?
So Minshew went to Washington. Yeah. Actually, he transferred to Washington.
He transferred from where?
I forget where he transferred. But he was an air raid quarterback with Mike Leach. Mike Leach had just passed.
I know Mike Leach.
So he was a quarterback he did throw. He was a thrower of the football. But as you can watch this game, if you go back to the all 22, and no disrespect to Cave, because you might just came into the show. No disrespect to you. If you go back to the all 22 and just watch the difference of what a quarterback needs to do
He went
to.
to Strayer University.
He said, "What the Strayer online
I
too."
mean, he went to 4 schools. We're not
But
going to put
no, but
Minshew and Jalen in the same level at any part
he
of the position.
he
Decision making,
doesn't have
running,
that it factor.
throwing. He has none of that. The strength, no, he has none of that.
No,
None
he
of
doesn't
that.
have the arm strength. He was
Why are we
sailing
even
some of the
debating
balls.
it? It's disrespectful to debate
Man, he missed
any
Quez
backup
blocking.
on this team versus our QB1. It's disrespectful at this point. He outworks them, outplays them at every part of the game. Stop it, y'all. Stop it. Just
No,
stop it. Real
But
talk.
that's the thing. Like Quez, I mean not Quez. Uh, Jalen will reach his plateau. He's one of the
He
guys.
hasn't even reached it yet. Y'all
He,
should be scared.
he's one of the guys that's going to work his butt off to reach that plateau, and you know that's the thing that we always want our players. They talk about I'm working on this. I'm working on this. At the same time, he's going to reach that. He's going to be that top tier quarterback at one point in time.
Squatting more than his O line. Minshew could never. Could never.
We're not disrespecting Gardner Minshew. We're just saying that
We're not. He's a backup, and I'm glad he's our backup. He's a very
Yeah.
he
good
may not be
backup,
here next
but
year.
he's
so
a backup.
he's a
Oh, he's not
backup.
going to be
Period.
here. He's not going to be here next year.
He's not
And
gonna
even
be
if
here
he
next
goes and gets a starting job, he's not going to keep it.
year.
Carson Wentz.
Yes, they
Did
brought
you just
Carson
cough
back.
as they-
Carson's coming.
Listen, Carson's
Carson
on
will
that
come back.
yo-yo.
Yeah,
Yo, they had to play him, so they have to play him.
They had to, because Matty Ice is him and Brady all skinny and frail anymore. What's going on with them?
I don't know, but I just know we need to get this win.
We getting a
Sunday,
W.
we need to get this get Jalen some work, get him back out there, make sure he's sharp, he good, and then take it from there. Take the first round bye because it's going to be a bloodbath that wild card weekend in the NFC. You think about it, if it started today, Dallas would play Tampa Bay. That's not going to be an easy game. Don't get me.
That
don't get
would
it
be
twisted.
hilarious.
The Tampa Bay Bucks are not the Super Bowl team, but you
No.
cannot count any team that Tom Brady is on out.
Ever.
But if the defense shows up, he can muster up enough magic to pull off a win like that. So that would be a tough game for Dallas. And who plays?
He's 24. Jalen's 24. Turned 24.
He's
Jalen's
24.
24.
And it's not one season. Jalen was better last year than Gardner Minshew. That's why he was a starter.
Yeah, true
Like,
that.
stop. It's not one season. This boy has the pedigree more so than the dude, Jalen went to 2 schools. Gardner went to 4. Jalen was a Heisman candidate. Gardner was
Oh,
not.
I never addressed this. CJ Johnson, he did not get activated off the injury reserve.
Yeah, not this week. So
Yeah,
probably.
he has an internal injury, so they got to be
lacerated
very
kidney-
careful about that. Yeah.
Lacerated kidney is nothing to play with as an NFL player. I just saw
Yeah,
the
no, it's not.
university thing again. I'm sorry.
So getting back to the wild card round, the Dallas would play Tampa Bay, San Fran would play the Giants, and Minnesota would play Washington. So these would be
That would be a good game.
there are
Yo,
going to be some good games that
all
wild card
NFC
weekend. It's going to
East
be a
make the
bloodbath.
playoffs.
What?
Who?
What?
All NFC East make the playoffs.
The beast of the
Yeah.
East.
They're
We're the
talking
beast
about
of the
they're talking
East.
about Pat Mahomes. They're talking about Josh Allen.
Who?
Pat Mahomes has to play shootout games because his defense is trash. He has to
Wait.
go for
Yeah,
200.
he
But
does.
wait,
He
they
does.
thought Tua was better than Jalen
Oh, you
because
you
of what
tripping.
happened in college. No.
Tua arm has always been suspect, even in college.
Talk about it.
So I'm not
Talk
I'm not
about
gonna
it.
touch that
College
one
is a little
because-
bit more political when it comes to getting on the field. Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Tua
There's no
has
way if
that
I was a
Ken
coach, I would have
Dorsey.
ever let Jalen go from being my starter in college.
Tua has that Ken Dorsey arm. Ken Dorsey was a
Yeah.
great college quarterback.
Yeah.
But when we
Yeah.
went to the pros, you were like, "Oh
It
crap! I
doesn't
can't,
always
I
translate.
can't throw a fastball."
Yeah.
It doesn't
I throw
always
change-ups,
translate.
and the guys are always open.
No.
So no, it's a different story now. Even though they got them to get help down there in Miami, Philly is a different thing. Jalen Hurts has the arm. They just was
yeah.
using his running ability at Alabama because that's basically what he can do. He
Mm.
was more of a runner at that particular time. When he went to Oklahoma and become the air raid officer with Lincoln Riley, he put up damn near 5,000 passing yards. I wish Buddy Ryan was alive. He would punch Gannon in the face.
He's so what? He would punch him in the throat, not the face. Buddy Ryan was about that life.
Buddy Ryan would be like, "What the fuck is you
Will,
doing?"
I'm talking about a previous comment that actually compared Minshew to be the better passer than Jalen. That's why I'm bringing it up. So catch up.
Yeah.
You're late. Come to the show. We start at 7. We are almost finished now.
Oh yeah, Sidney
Yeah.
Fields. Just to let you know, there's no word on Avonte Maddox. Truthfully, I think is a broken toe, big toe, or it may be a torn ligament in the big toe area. And I'm saying the worst, hoping for the best.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
All right, Mario from Down Under. We have another one.
Hey,
From
I
Down
know.
Under. Says, "Great show. It's
Represent Aussie
midday
folks.
Friday in Sydney,
Aussie,
Australia."
go
I
on.
put his comment up a little earlier. He says he's from the same hometown as Malata, if I'm remembering correctly. So he's from Sydney, Australia, from Jordan Mailata's hometown, home country.
I love it. I
That's
love
incredible.
that
We
his
thank you for
peoples
following
come
us.
and represent. I love it. And he's a great singer, y'all. Y'all better listen to the
Yeah, he
Christmas
is.
album.
I tried to get the Christmas out. It was
Pickup.
sold out before I can get
Of course
to it.
it
Yeah,
was.
it
Like
is.
all these doggone
Hey,
trolls.
Palatero.
Yeah, I hope Quez is not the third receiver. I would.
He
Pascal
disappointed
is
me.
a more
Clutch.
He's a more reliable.
He's
clutch
more clutch.
receiver than
Quez used
Quez.
to be clutch, but he's taken a bit of a fall off. I'm
You know
a
what?
little sad about that.
I think he's going to have a bounce back a second half of the year.
Playoffs? You think he's going to bounce back in the playoffs? I hope so because
he had that
I
bad.
had high hopes for him.
He had that bad fumble against the Commanders. The bad show, the 2 interceptions that he should have ripped out of these guys' hands.
At the very least, the defender shouldn't have caught it. At the very least, when it's getting in that close, you can't let the defender come up with it.
People take the balls from Quez like they steal his lunch money. He has to. He has to get more aggressive.
I want to do this. I think he knows it. He's not the Jalen Reagor type.
Punked.
You know, he was the top receiver at Southern Miss. Like he was the go-to guy. Mm-hmm. He was the guy that if he had a bad miss this game, the next game he tore it up for 150 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That was him in Southern Miss. That can be him in the second half of the year. And another thing I want to go through before we end this.
He was ass on Saturday.
He was. Before we end this, I do want to say this. Let's not forget when this team plays man up, we shut down top receivers.
Everybody.
Justin Jefferson is close to breaking the all-time most receiving yards in a season for a wide receiver.
He couldn't do that against us.
He didn't have close to 20. Did he have 20 yards against us?
Did he?
I don't know.
It was under 50 yards,
Did he?
I believe. Yes.
So
we shut people down, man. I mean,
we shut them down because we have
this is what I'm talking about. See, this when we get to the playoffs, this is the adjustment. JG is going to go to more man to man. This is what I'm talking about. He's not showing. He don't.
Really?
That's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm banking on.
Pat is not hearing that shit right now. Real talk. He should have been doing that week 1.
All right, watch what happened.
Why is
that's Dante's hot take, just in case.
That's my hot take. I'm gonna go down with that. That's my hot take. Watch
that's his
in the playoffs. Jonathan Gannon is going to go berserk on.
He's going to get a clue and get his head out his ass. That's what you're saying.
He's going to let everybody off the leash. All the dogs just go.
Listen, Quez. I'm gonna say this before we close
Linda.
Quez Watkins is not a slant guy. He's the deep guy that clears everything open for everything underneath.
Never.
That's why when Jalen was the quarterback, he didn't get as many targets as he got more targets with Gardner Minshew this week than he has got all season in one single game.
See, that's
because he's not. You're right. He's not the underneath guy. That's AJ Brown's role.
Recognize his talent, who he's playing with. You got to a point guard. Go back to point guard again. You got to know who you get, where you
That's
give
right.
who
That's
you
right.
give the ball to,
The
Yes.
middle of the field belongs to Goddard and AJ.
and AJ.
Period. Quez is
But if
not
you,
about that life.
yeah, he's not about that life, and you can, and even Slim Reaper would go across the middle way
Right?
better
Oh
than
my
Quez.
goodness.
I'd rather
He's
if you're
a
going to throw it
fighter.
across the middle,
You know what I mean?
yes, he would fight it. He
He
would
does.
fight
It's no
for it.
way the ball's getting that close to him, and he's not catching it.
Hold
Let
up.
alone the
Wait
other
a
guy.
minute.
The other guy not catching.
I got to
But
come at
he's-
Anthony A's for this one. I got to come at Anthony A's for this one. You got to realize Ty Pickett almost had 1,000 yards in that season when he had TL.
Don't hate that's family.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
not hating
hate.
on him at all.
No, I'm talking to Anthony. That's the second time he had that comment today.
Did she take
Oh,
a
we
sip
don't
of
know.
the
Todd
Wait, we-
Paxton family to the show. We don't talk about Todd Paxton bad.
Nah.
All right.
Listen, he could be aggressive too in life and on the field, but I'm just saying.
If Jonathan lose this shit in the playoffs for us, we digging up Jim Johnson and bringing him back.
Oh
That
my
is
goodness.
hilarious.
He trying to do some Frankenstein stuff.
He gonna give y'all a little taste on Sunday. He just gonna let y'all taste what he gonna do in the playoffs. Watch on this Sunday. He gonna give y'all a little taste. Then y'all gonna be like, oh, he might be right.
He
Dante,
is. Ed.
I'm
Go back to
gonna
Ed's
risk getting
comment.
COVID.
Smith
I'm gonna
is
risk getting COVID to come
he
down there and
is
knock
on
on your
some
door and
Matrix
say,
shit.
"What?"
Yeah, he
What?
is on the sideline.
Smith,
said
like
doing
he's like old school. I took ballet classes,
No.
like the old school
Marvin
receivers did.
Harrison.
Like he is like a gazelle out there with his twinkle toes. Half the time, I don't even think he's inbounds, and he's inbounds.
Yeah, I know.
No, he
Wow.
That
reminds me
dude
of
is
Marvin Harrison.
crazy.
He literally, his body type
Ugh.
reminds me of Marvin Harrison. Not only did he have the speed, he had the wherewithal to actually have his limbs go limp when he needed to make those sideline catches. Like he was a ballerina making those sideline catches. Smitty he literally reminds me of Marvin Harrison, like a little taller than Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, he does. He does.
I like
All
that.
right,
I like that.
Ananias says,
yes.
I think Quez is still a legitimate threat. We just have to use his speed better with route combinations. Quez is the deep guy, period. No
Mhm.
slants, no outs, maybe a quick screen on occasion, but only for the screen and go.
Right.
That's it. And then Minshew should have known that. He should have known, like,
but
yo, this
that's why he's not QB1. Jalen knows what receiver and what their strengths are. Period. And Gardner had all season to watch to learn that. But why, if Quez was not the man across the middle in these past 15 games, why would you try to make him the man across the middle when you
somebody said earlier, Quez was even shocked he was throwing him the ball.
Yeah, he's like, "Yo, you threw me the ball? Like, oh, I got moved."
like, oh,
but you know what?
He throwing it to me.
He just put a comment on the screen, right? By the X Factor from Facebook.
Yes,
YouTube,
yes, post that.
About Devontae,
yes.
Devontae is Devontae Smith 1.0. He replicates Marvin Harrison. He's not Marvin Harrison 2.0 because Marvin Harrison 2.0 is at, I hate to say this, at the Ohio State University, and I want him to be Eagle. He is that damn good.
Wow.
All right.
Wow. Well, we got obviously. I mean, not that I don't think
Who's
they're
playing
burn
tonight.
The Cow Turds.
Cow
We get ready to go.
Turds
We
is-
out
Oh, they
here.
got Thursday night game.
Yeah,
Ugh.
they got Thursday. It's gonna be.
They're playing a bunch of replacement players.
Yeah, this is.
I
a
put
late,
them all.
late
I put
for
them
that.
all off my fantasy team. Well, I only had one. I had Tony Pollard, but I just he's injured, so
They're playing
dumped them.
the replacements.
All right, yeah, they're playing the
Josh
the Titans
Dobbs
with
got
all their
signed
backups
8 days
and all
ago
that stuff.
and needs to start.
They're
quarterback.
playing their backups. Like they're already in that mode. They're not
Yeah, they're
playing for
done.
position.
No, they
No,
They don't
They
care.
no,
They're done.
They don't
They're
care about
done.
their seating.
because Derrick Henry's out also.
Derrick Henry ain't
So-
playing.
He's not playing.
You got a
That's,
quarterback you just signed 8 days ago starting.
Yeah,
Who?
Josh Dobbs is their
Who was
starting quarterback.
that?
He played he played with Pittsburgh for a while. He was
He did.
exactly. Who
He-
is that?
he
Sorry.
wasn't
No,
Tennessee
no,
court.
who
He
was
he
that?
played
He
he
said,
college ball. He
look,
played Tennessee. He signed
Titans
up.
signed the guy.
He
off
was
the Cleveland
involved?
practice
He was a
squad.
volunteer.
Yes, he was a volunteer. I wanted to go
Okay.
to Tennessee so bad.
I did too.
Yeah,
I wanted to go for cheer. That's funny.
really, I want to go
Harris
for
is
football.
I did.
He's for real. Would love him in the first round.
I did.
All right,
and
so
I
we're gonna-
love their
we're wrapping
ladies
it up.
basketball team.
They were cool.
Oh yeah, I used to like.
They were cool.
I
I was a big
all right, we're
Rutgers
getting
fan.
out
I
of
don't
here.
know why, but
You guys, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you tune in on Sunday. It's a 1 o'clock game, so our pregame show will be around 12 o'clock noon on Sunday. Enjoy the pregame festivities with us on Eagles Talk on YouTube and Facebook. We will see you guys then. And immediately following that game, we'll be doing a post-game show also. So hopefully we'll be celebrating a win over the Saints and sewing up the number 1 seed in the NFC. But tune in Sunday and we'll all find out together. I'm your
Thank
man,
you
Dante
guys
the
for
Dark Knight.
tuning in.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. For Pat, Michelle, we'll see you
Tony
guys
be
Sunday. We're out.
Tony be tailgating.
Tony, inbox me. I'm free tomorrow.
That's right too.
Yeah, we got.
All right, come on. We could do lunch, Pat.
Smash him up, crack that